Good morning, welcome to Winging It with Ash. I am Ash, welcome to my channel and welcome to Florence, Italy. This last week I have traveled solo for the very first time. I've been to over 70 countries, but I traveled with friends, partner, family, and never alone outside of my own country. So now that I'm 30, divorced, and traveling, I'm traveling solo for the very first time and I'm trying to figure it all out. I actually consider myself a fairly independent person. I'd like to do things independently, and in the US I don't mind traveling independently, and I have done a few trips there. But there's something different about being in a new country, a new city that I'm unfamiliar with, all alone, with no one that I know even close by. Back in June, I went on my very first solo trip to Marbella. I've never been to Marbella. I was going for a conference, and it was the first time that I've ever stayed in a hotel room all alone. And my reaction to it was strange and not something that I expected. I was sad, I felt scared, I felt like I had weird thoughts of I'm the only one here, there's no one around that can save me if I'm in a bad situation, which is so annoying because it's irrational, but thoughts that came into my head. And yeah, the honest truth, it was not a good experience, and I thought maybe ruined me forever for solo travel. But I'm not someone who gives up very easily, and so I thought I'd go on this solo trip and see if maybe it's something that I can grow into. I'm curious how many of you have been on solo trips, if it's something that you grew into enjoying and liking, or if it's something that you liked immediately right away. I am curious for myself if it's something that in the future I'm going to really want to do. I do know that being alone is a luxury for so many. I just think about moms with children who can't even go to the bathroom without their kids' little lips being under the door calling their name. So I do understand that it is a luxury, but there are definitely things that I need to get used to. I need to figure out. And in this last trip, there have been things that have surprised me. On the other end of the spectrum, how many of you have never been solo traveling, and what is it that stops you? What are your hesitations? I know I had many hesitations of feeling unsafe or not having someone to share things with. I didn't know how I would react when I always had someone else to rely on. Maybe I would miss things like buying a train ticket or losing a train ticket. All of those things that come to my mind. Yeah, there are just many hesitations that I've had, but being out here doing it, I realized that those hesitations are ridiculous and that I shouldn't have listened to them to begin with. One of my hesitations was that I wouldn't meet anyone. I like to stay in Airbnbs. That's something about being over 30, I think, is that staying in hostels is no longer an option for me because I just like the comfort of feeling at home somewhere, and Airbnbs or hotel rooms is where I like to be. But it's harder to meet people that way. But this trip, I have been amazed at how many people have approached me. I feel like being a solo traveler, it's easier for people to approach you than when you're traveling with someone else. I don't know why that is. Maybe I don't know what it is, but I went to this museum the other day and I met a girl from China there, and we spent the whole rest of the day together. It was an amazing experience. It was so much fun. But I don't think that if I was in a pair, she would have approached me in the same way, and we wouldn't have built a fun little friendship for that day. I've also been approached in the streets by other people, as well as on Instagram. People have messaged me saying that they're in the same city as me. I don't know if it has to do with me traveling solo or not, but I do have this feeling that it was something that I never experienced before. People do not approach me in the same way that I have experienced in the last week. But in saying that, I have been approached a lot more often. I've also been asked a lot more often if I'm alone. And in a way, that's a little unnerving because what do you say? I am not well versed in lying. I like to be honest. So when someone asks me if I'm alone, I say, yeah, I'm alone. But is that is my security breached? I'm not even quite sure how to phrase the term, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how to handle situations where people ask me if I am solo or if I am alone. I want to openly and honestly answer those questions, but I also want to be completely aware of my surroundings and make sure that I do feel safe if I'm answering the answer that yes, I am indeed alone. So let's tackle something else that surprised me. Eating alone is something that I've done so many times in malls, I've done it at cafes, I've gone to coffee shops. Like, being alone is not a problem for me. But what surprised me was going to a sit-down restaurant and eating alone there. I didn't know what to do. I felt awkward. I didn't know who to look at. I didn't know what to look at. I didn't know what to do. It was a sit-down 3-course meal, so it wasn't a very quick experience. It was a long, extended experience. Thankfully, I went to a place where the kitchen was open and I was able to watch the chefs in the back, and I come from a food and beverage background, so I enjoyed watching the waiters run around. But I put on Instagram, like, what do I do in that kind of situation? As a solo traveler, you're sitting there among all these other people who are enjoying each other's company, and there I am, all on my lonesome, looking awkward as ever. But I think that many people, they explained that you can bring a book, which at a sit-down restaurant, I don't necessarily feel comfortable reading a book. Maybe I will get better at that. But also someone had said, it suggested journaling, because every time she would journal, they would think that she was a food critic and she would get the best service that she's ever had, which I find a very good suggestion, and I think that I might give that a try. I bring that up because sitting alone, eating alone, really threw me off that I had those feelings, that I felt awkward. It was something that I thought I would be able to tackle really easily, going to a sit-down restaurant and enjoying it. But really, it wasn't. I went away thinking that it was kind of a weird, awkward experience and wondering if I would ever get used to it. But I don't know. I haven't gone back yet, so who knows? But I think that it will get better over time. That said, you cannot ignore the benefits that everyone talks about solo travel. You can eat what you want, when you want, go where you want, spend as much time as you want. You can have ice cream at 9 a.m. in the morning, go out for your 5th coffee of the day, or spend 6 hours in a museum, not worrying about someone else. For me, I do worry about other people and the time that I'm spending, like if they are happy, if they want to go do something else. Like, I'm constantly having this turmoil of thinking of the other person and how they're enjoying their time. But being alone, I don't have that, and the freedom of that is actually really good for me. There are benefits of being with someone else. I do miss debriefing my day with someone, talking about my experience with someone, sharing memories with someone. Those are things that I love while traveling with others. But solo travel also has definite benefits that I'm starting to understand. So I think as someone well-versed in travel and I'm having these feelings, I feel like they have to be fairly common. I can't be completely like ridiculous and and be the only ones with these feelings. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, I hope that some of you were able to relate to some of these things. If there are other things that I like, okay, so these things have surprised me. Going out to eat to a 3-course meal and feeling awkward really surprised me. So if you guys have things that you were surprised about while solo traveling, that kind of like, you were like, oh, why did I feel that way about that? Then let me know. I would like to know ahead of time, maybe prepare myself ahead of time, and yeah, overcome whatever that is. If you have never solo traveled, I hope this encourages you. There are things that have made me hesitant, and there are things that have made me question whether or not solo travel is for me. And maybe it's not, but there are things that I am starting to feel like I enjoy about solo traveling, which makes me think that it's something that will grow on me and something maybe in the future I will really, really enjoy. But yeah, time will tell. We shall see. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I have solo content coming for you very, very soon. My new video about Venice and being in Venice with a friend is coming up this weekend as well, so check that out. I'll link it up here. But have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.